I guess it just makes you feel that you accomplished something in some ways because, as we all know, I feel like I left, something out there that I always wanted to accomplish. And, I got to live with that, and that's part of playing sports. And it doesn't always go the way you expect, or even you can put everything into it, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But, it doesn't mean you can be okay with it. And so this week has been special in the sense that people have made me feel that they appreciated me, that they enjoyed me playing and being their quarterback, and that it meant something to them, and that they wanted to root for me, and they're passionate about it. And I can't say thank you enough. It really has been a very special week.
Tim, that was Tony Romo speaking to reporters today after the Mavs morning shoot-around. Romo was very candid about, quote, leaving something out there in his career with the Dallas Cowboys. That leads to this, fill in the blank. Blank is the reason Tony Romo never won a Super Bowl.
Clubber Lang said it in his pre-fight interview about his upcoming fight with Rocky Balboa, Rocky Fight 1. Said, how do you describe what's going to happen today? He said one word.
The injuries, huh?
Yeah, the injuries were a nightmare for Tony, who I think if you had to kind of grade out his career, I would say it's got to be a B+. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's plenty fair. I think he is borderline Hall of Famer. I personally wouldn't put him in. Some would. He's put up great numbers, and he's been at least a personality, a player within the league that has sold a lot of jerseys, has been beloved by a very large fan base worldwide, not just there in Dallas. So I think B+ is good, and I do think Payne contributing to the reason why Tony Romo never won a Super Bowl, but I think the biggest reason is his biggest fan, Jerry Jones. Think about who was in charge, the architect of the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones, coming out of the 90s, thought he had all the answers. Jimmy Johnson, get the hell out of here. We don't need you. And in the 2000s, the early 2000s, into just about a couple years ago when his son Stephen Jones started really taking over the decision-making process, Jerry was the one calling all the shots. Draft this guy. Sign this guy. And he did not put enough pieces around Tony Romo to help him get over the hump against better teams in the NFC. Most recently, the Seattle Seahawks, the Green Bay Packers. Of course, this team never would have beat a Tom Brady Patriots team in the Super Bowl if they would have gotten there. But Tony Romo deserves some blame himself, but I don't think he ever had a roster that was good enough to compete for a Super Bowl.
Well, he certainly didn't have an offensive line that's there today.
And that has been more Stephen Jones than Jerry Jones, getting Ezekiel Elliott in there as well. Unfortunately for Tony Romo, I think his best years coincided with when Jerry Jones was still kind of running the ship there in the Big D.
Yeah, I just wonder, if you look back and just go, woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? Would he been able to get them over the hump? But how about this year? He's out there, he's broadcasting, he has a new career. Dak Prescott gets hurt. He's the quarterback of the Cowboys.
Oh, man,
he leads them to the promised land. He will play for the Cowboys if Dak Prescott gets hurt.
That
is the biggest lock fact that I've ever said on this show.
I won't be surprised if it happens.
He's gone. Phil Simms gets his blazer back, steps right back into the booth again.
We got some viewer responses as well. Abate says, Tony Romo is the reason Tony Romo never won a Super Bowl. Not good enough. Rob says durability. Speaking to your word, Payne. Joe says because Dez didn't catch the ball.
They still would have had to beat Seattle.
Good, very good Seattle team. So